Okay, once again, the topic for our subject today is the principle in organizational design. Okay, so just a short reminder for the whole topics for this subject. Yeah, as you remember that we will have approximately 14 what is it 14 meeting, yeah, and unfortunately, we still talking in the meeting number 4, which is the principle in organization design. So once again, the meeting number 4, yeah, is included in the learning outcome or short or course outcome number 1 or A1. So from meeting the second meeting until the sixth meetings is still talking about how we can fulfill the course outcome number 1. Okay, here in front of you, yeah, you can see a slide talking about the basic principle in organizational design. So the basic principle of industrial organization design, yeah, includes, but it's not all. The first one is differentiation. Second one is integration. The third, delegation. The fourth, standardization. And the fifth is organizational structure. So more detail about organizational structure will be discussed on the next meeting. All right, so the first one is differentiation of organizational functional. That's the first one. And the second one is integration mechanism. The third one is delegation of authority. Yeah, we'll talk about the centralized delegation versus the decentralized organization, and also the standardization of works. Okay. So those are the basic principle in organization design. Yeah. For today's meeting, we're going to mostly talk about the basic principle number 1 until the basic principle number 4. The basic principle number 5 mostly will be discussed, as I'll said, on the next meeting. So this is the challenge for the organizational design. Uh, the first one and the second one is actually related: differentiation and integration. Yeah, differentiation and integration. So in some points, organization needs to choose the balance or determine the balance between differentiation and integration, or centralization or decentralization, standardization or mutual adjustment. Say like this. Um, Say, let's talk maybe the easiest one in the condition to choose between centralization or decentralization. Say like this, maybe in one city, for example, in one big city, yeah, they have so many point of service. All right. So take one example, maybe in convenience store. Yeah, convenience store. Yeah, there are so many convenience store in Jogja. Yeah. Maybe I can say some example like Alfamart, Indomart, and many other marts. Yeah. The question is it better for each store to have their own warehouse, or it should be centralized in one place in the same cities? Okay, that's a big question. If the warehouse, for example, is decentralized means that they only have, or each is store, they have their own warehouse. Yeah, one of the advantage is um, if they're running out of stuff in on their display, they can directly uh, what is it? They can directly get the spare stuff from their warehouse. It will be prevent the store actually from opportunity loss. All right. But what happens if the warehouse is centralized? Yeah, the warehouse is centralized. The warehouse is centralized. The advantage is each store they don't have to provide a specific place for storing their stuff. But the disadvantage is if they're running out of item to sell on their display, they have to wait until the next delivery. Yeah. The question is which one to choose between centralized or decentralization. Okay. In this case, if the management tend to choose decentralization, yeah, means that in every store they have their own warehouse. Maybe they can save the what is it? The organizational structure because they don't have to provide a specific big place only for the warehouse. Okay, but there are many others advantage or disadvantage. Yeah, the question is they have to choose. Yeah, whether they prefer to do centralized or decentralization, or they want to do in between. Yeah, that's the meaning of balancing. The meaning of balancing, because in centralization or decentralization, yeah, the structure of organization or the design of organization could be pretty much different. So that's the one of the what is it consideration, yeah, that organization actually need to decide need to decide whether uh, which alternative has the most balance between differentiation or integration, centralization or and decentralization, and standardization or mutual adjustment. Okay, let's talk first about the differentiation. So what's differentiation? Differentiation is the process by which an organization allocates people and resources to organizational tasks. Yeah, this differentiation. The process in which an organization allocates people and resources to organizational tasks. And the we need to talk the division of labor. The division of labor is the degree of specialization in the organization. So say like this: um, if the scale of production, yeah, the size of the production expense to be bigger size, yeah, it required higher degree of specialization, and the division of labor become possible. If we return to the history, maybe in the first industrial revolution, where most of the manufacturing company, yeah, were started by engineer. Most of the manufacturing companies started by engineer. So those engineers actually they act as the marketeers. They act as the um, production people. They act as the finance, and actually they did all the function in the organization. Okay, but when the production expands, the scale of the production expands, what happens is not all the tasks within the organization can be covered by one person. So they need to have another people to help them. Yeah. And what happens is they did kind of the division of work. Yeah, in the production department, for example, they split uh, the production process into several processes, and each worker are specialized in one particular process. Yeah, so it happened until now. Okay, why I select to start this discussion from Industrial Revolution 1.0, because of uh, the first machine that not powered by people or animal are started in the first industrial revolution. So in other words, we can say that the modern manufacturing system, yeah, or the modern production system, it was started in the first industrial revolution, and uh, it was the time when, for the first time, people start to use machine. Even the machine are powered by steam or steam engine. Now, at that days, on that day, um, they start to have like the worker specialization. Yeah, a particular specialized people, they work maybe in one department to handle one type of process, and another specialized worker, they handle another type of particular process, and so and so. So that's actually the differentiation. So differentiation is the process, once again, in which an organization allocates people and resources. So resources could be machine, could be raw material, capital, and every kind of resources to support the process. Okay, that's differentiation. So let's start with this one. Simple to complex organization. What happens if the small business grows? Yeah, I already provided some or one example related with what happened in the first industrial revolution. But what about in the modern world? When one person, for example, they started to they start a business, yeah, restaurant business or coffee shop or something like that. Yeah. And once again, all the process from purchasing process, planning process, production process, selling process, yeah, and services, it can be handled by one person easily, because the scale of the production or the scale of business is pretty much uh, what is it? Not so big. Okay. What happened when this restaurant, for example, grows? Okay. So this is the illustration from simple to complex organization. Let's start from the top left. Yeah, your top left hand side. Yeah, there is a restaurant. There are two owners of the restaurant. Yeah. Say is owner A and owner B. Two people own the restaurant, and they only have one waiters. They only have one waiters. So once the restaurant grows, okay, their simple organization become more complex. The owners pretty much the same. Okay, owners A, owners B. You can see on the uh, top right hand side, on the top right. Yeah, still A and B, but the numbers of the waiters increase from one maybe to eight, for example, from one waiters to eight waiters. Also, maybe in the first sim, yeah, on the first, the most simple organization, they don't have like a kitchen staff, bus boys. So bus boys is some people who have cleaning the tables. That's bus boys. Yeah. On the first, the most simple organization, yeah, maybe the waiters only, the task of the waiters only taking orders, yeah, delivering food, something like that. But other tasks like cooking, maybe preparing, yeah, and purchasing, all still uh, performed by the owners, for example. But when the organization become more complex, the owner maybe only focus on the core activities like planning, executing, and controlling. Yeah, there there are waiters who do their jobs and kitchen staff. Yeah, maybe to cook the menu and busboys who clean the table and something like that. All right. So once the organization or the restaurant getting bigger, okay, maybe even the owner, if you see on the uh, below left, yeah, yeah, the owner start to split the job. Yeah, the owner still A and B, yeah, still A and B, but they start to split the job. Maybe the owner A, yeah, focus on the what is it, on the kitchen side, on the back side, yeah, yeah, handle the chef, handle the kitchen or something, and the owner A focus on the dining room. Yeah, so owner A responsible about the waiters, responsible the busboys, but the owner B responsible the chef and the kitchen staff. And once it's getting bigger, the organization getting more complex, where they need to employ manager, for example, okay, manager of the restaurant. Yeah. The manager may be responsible for the maintenance. Yeah, if, when the what is it, the owner A still on the dining room, still on the dining room, but there is a new position which is bartenders or cashiers. Yeah, and the owner B is still in the what is it, on the kitchen side. Okay, those are the example of how organization grows from a very simple organization getting bigger, and getting bigger. Okay, so this is the example of how organization grows from simple to complex organization. Okay, let's continue. So the more complex organization is actually they will have the higher division of labor and also the higher level of differentiation. Okay. If you see on the on this what is it, on this figure, yeah, or if we go back to the previous figure, yeah, this is showing an illustration where the organization becomes more complex. Yeah, they will have higher division of labor and higher level of differentiation. Okay, higher division of labor. For example, if at the first scenario, at the first condition, they only have waiters, yeah, while the other tasks are performed by the owners. Once again, from cooking, maybe from purchasing, from maintenance, taking the payments, mostly everything. But when the organization grows, they have more labor division, yeah, more labor division. The owners maybe once again they only do the core activities of the organization, and they provide they provide the uh, another sort of department. Yeah. They created another department, yeah, and then fulfilled by specialized people, especially here in the kitchen staff and busboys. So this is a simple illustration that if the organization becomes more complex, yeah, they will require the higher division of labors and the higher level of differentiation. So when the division of labor increase, yeah, the manager start to hire specialized people. They start to hire specialized people. Maybe at the small organization, yeah, person can one person they can do yeah frankly speaking most of the tasks that they can do the purchasing, they can do the accounting, they can do mostly everything. Okay, but when the organization grows, yeah, a simple accounting system, for example, it cannot cover the business process. A simple purchasing system also cannot cover the business process. So what happens is the organization needs specialized people who understand about how is accounting in a big organization or in a bigger organization. Okay. At that time, maybe the accounting system still paper-based. But once the organization is getting bigger, yeah, a conventional accounting maybe is not enough. The accounting should be supported by system, for example, like SAP. This it require another specialized people. Yeah, in a medium organization, yeah, maybe paper-based account where paper-based accounting is enough. What happen is, okay, I only need people who understand about accounting in organization. But when the organization becomes more complex, yeah, paper-based accounting maybe is no longer enough, and they need people who understand about accounting and IT at the same time. So in this case, specialization allow people to develop knowledge and ability in a specific role. So when the organization requires specialized people, they have two options actually. They want to hire a new people, or they develop the existing people. They develop the knowledge of the existing people to fulfill the specific role. Okay, so in here, the definition of organization role is set of task-related person behaviors required by their position in organization. Yeah, there's a role in organization. So actually, when the bottom line is this: if the organization grows, they need specialized people who do a specific task. Okay, this is the building block of differentiation. So the last slide that we discussed is actually still in the core of this building block, which is the role. Yeah, and the role, and then they create function develop division, and some division they develop organization. So function is actually a subunit composed of a group of people working together who possess similar skill or use the same kind of knowledge, tool, or techniques to perform the jobs. That's function. Yeah, where the role here, yeah, in the center of this building blocks is actually you can see the definition in point number 3. The set of task-related person behavior required required to required by their position in organization. So the role is one person with specialized knowledge or specialized skill to do the job required by organization. And some people in the role, they create function. Okay, they create function. The type of function, if you see there is a production, yeah, support, maintenance, adaptive, and managerial. Okay. In maintenance, for example, yeah, there are many roles there. Okay. Maybe a person specialized to do preventive maintenance, for example. People specialized to do the repair, or people specialized to do the um, what is it? The regular maintenance. In the production function, there is one people that specialized to operate one machine, yeah, and another machine are uh, handled by another people with their different specialization, something like that. Yeah. So the set of role, and then what is it? Create a function, right? And then uh, some functions, yeah, some function, they build what usually called as division. The division or a division is a subunit that consists of a collection of function or collection of department that share responsibility for producing a particular good or service. This division. So it could be a group of function or a group of department. Okay, say like this. Maybe production and maintenance. It could be in one division. In one division. In some organization, production and maintenance is handled by one manager. They are in uh, what is it? In one department. Yeah. So production manager is responsible to production manager. Maintenance department also responsible or reports to the production department. Yeah. So another function maybe like QC, quality control. Quality control, they also responsible maybe to the or also reports to the production manager. So actually, production manager, they handle production, quality control, and maintenance. So in this case, yeah, uh, what is it? The production manager is in the head of division or head of department. So division or department is consists of many functions, and each function they have role. So the role, and then after role we have function. The above function we have division or department. So that's the building block of differentiation. And the top one, yeah, the set of department of the set of division, yeah, in the basic theory of organization, we call it as organization in here. So role, function, division or department. This is division or department, and then organization. All right. In the differentiation, there are two types, which is vertical differentiation and horizontal differentiation. Vertical differentiation and horizontal differentiation. So vertical differentiation is actually the way an organization designs its hierarchy of authority and creates reporting relationship to link organizational role and subunits. So vertical is like uh, um, top down, bottom up is vertical differentiation, where horizontal differentiation is the way organization group uh, the way an organization groups organizational tasks into role and role into subunits. That's horizontal. So briefly, you can see in here. So if you see here on the right hand side, yeah, is a vertical differentiation. Yeah, the distribution of authority actually, this vertical differentiation. Yeah, from the owners, restaurant manager to the what is it? To the functional skill and then to the individual. Yeah, top down. Well, horizontal is on the bottom here. Horizontal differentiation is this a set of uh, different role in the organization. Okay, different role. So in this case, as you can see that chef role and dishwasher role uh, is develop a kitchen function. Okay, waiter role and busboy role it's built the dining room function, bartender role and other role maybe like cashier and other role create the restaurant service function. And those three function, kitchen function, dining room function, and service function is handled by the restaurant manager or the owner. So this differentiation between vertical and horizontal differentiation. Okay, please remember about that one. Please remember about this one. Yeah, in case there will be asked in the mid exam. Who knows? All right. So we have talked about differentiation. So what about integration? So horizontal differentiation is supposed to enable people to specialize and become productive. Horizontal, remember, yeah, horizontal. Supposed to enable people to be more specialized and becomes more productive. Okay, please remember the horizontal is here. Yeah. So why I said that is specialized because if it's not if it's not specialized, it will be difficult to do the job. For example, waiters. Waiters cannot do the job of the chef and vice versa. So it is specialization. Yeah, it means that if the waiter they want to do the job of the chef, they need to acquire knowledge and skill. Yeah, required to be the chef. So that's the horizontal differentiation. Okay. And specialization often limits communication between subunits. Yeah. This specialization sometimes limit the communication between subunits. Yeah. And when the subunit orientation occurs, communication fail and coordination become very difficult. Okay. So if you see on the bottom here, yeah, because for example, waiters or busboy here, busboy and dishwasher, they are in the different function. Sometimes it's difficult to communicate or to coordinate. Yeah, because if the hierarchy of command, in the hierarchy of command, um, they only listen to their manager or their superordinates. Okay, so it's also create what they call as the limit of communication. So in order to prevent the limit of communication, integration is required. So integration is the process of coordinating various tasks, function, and division so that the people in the organization work together and not cross purposes. So that's the purpose of integration. So this is the some example of integration mechanism. I will discuss some of them. Yeah. For example, here, yeah, there are how many here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 types of integration. Yeah. This is the 3 example of integration. Okay. The first one is license role. License role, if you read here, yeah, number 3, the description is the specific manager is given responsibility for coordinating with managers from other subunits on behalf of his or her subunit. So what happened is, in the license person, for example, there are 3 departments here. Yeah, 3 department here. There is manager in, for example, what is it? In research and development, for example. Yeah. Manager in the research of and development. Yeah. Okay. And for some reason, yeah, the production manager and marketing manager are absent. Maybe the position is still available and no one can fulfill the position yet. So what happens is sometimes the one manager of one department can be given responsibility in other departments to handle other departments. So that's what we call as license role. Okay. And task force, if you see here on example B, task force is the combination of several different functions, yeah, to do a specific temporary task. So please remember the task force is just temporarily. It's not permanently. It's just temporarily. Okay, this task force. Well, integrating role in department is another story. So the detail you can read it in here. The difference between license role, task force, integrating role, or integrating department. So this is the integration. Now, the question is which one the organization need to choose, whether they choose the integration or differentiation, or they choose to be in between differentiation and integration. Differentiation means that there will be like a solid organizational structure with their specialization, say like this, yeah, yeah. Like the figure above me, or this tend to select the integration like this, yeah, or they select to be in between, or choosing the balance between uh, a particular level of integration or particular level of differentiation. So that's the first challenge. So that's what I mentioned, how organization balance the differentiation and integration. So to balance the differentiation and integration, the manager must carefully guide the differentiation process so that organization can get more competitive advantage. Okay. And the second one is carefully choose integration mechanism that allow subunits cooperate and build up organization core competence. So those are two concerns that the manager should do in order to balance differentiation and integration. Okay, and the second challenge is centralized or decentralized organization. Is related with the delegation of authority. Okay, centralized and decentralized organization related with this delegation of authority. So centralized organization, in central organization, the authority to make decision is retained by top level manager, decentralized manager. The authority to make decision is retained by top level managers. So in decentralized organization, the organization only or can focus only on its goal, decentralized. While decentralized organization, the authority to make important decision is delegated into all the managers at all level in the hierarchy. The the authority to make important decision are delegated to all managers at all level in the hierarchy. Okay, so in decentralized organization, it promotes flexibility and responsiveness. Yeah. While the centralized organization, all decisions should be made by the top level managers. So if there is a case or there is a problem, it will be reported by the top managers, and the top manager will make decision, and the decision will be delivered back to the lower level of the management. But it means that it will be less responsive compared to the decentralized organization, right? So in this case, there should be a balance between centralized and decentralization. Okay, so the organization have to choose in what level of decision can be taken by top management and what kind of decision can be taken by what is it by uh, the managers in the lower level. So there should be a balance between centralization and decentralization. So the ideal balance is actually entail middle and lower management at the scene of action can make necessary important decisions related with their responsibility and their tasks. Also, top manager can focus on the long-term strategy, and their time will not be consumed or not be burdened by day decision making. So they can only focus on the long-term strategy and general strategy, yeah, at the corporate level instead of um, daily operational decision making. Okay, like select buy or to not to buy, how much should be produced, something like that. Yeah, but they can focus on more strategic, more long-term strategy. There's uh, some consideration that need to think before doing the balancing between centralization and decentralization. All right, and the third one is actually um, balancing between the standardization of work. Yeah. So if you remember that we need to balance also the standardization or the mutual adjustment. So standardization is actually conformity to specific model or example that are considered proper in a given situation. That's standardization. Conformity to specific model or specific example that are considered proper in a given situation. That's standardization. Okay. Mutual adjustment is the process through which people use their judgment rather than standardized rule to address problem, to guide decision making, and to promote coordination. So in this case, once again, organization need to balance between standardization or mutual adjustment. Yeah. In one case, standardization is important. Yeah. But if everything is standardized, standardization is okay in terms of day by day or operational activities in the organization. Yeah. But when we talk about the lower level of the organization, it required the mutual adjustment. Yeah, people tend to use their judgment because sometimes they have lack of data, they have lack of information, to make the judgment. So they need a sort of the mutual adjustment instead of standardization. So organization need to balance between these two aspects, standardization or mutual adjustment. So in balancing the standardization and mutual adjustment, um, usually manager has to challenge. The first one is finding a way of using rule and norm to standardize behavior. Yeah. And the second one is allowing multiple adjustment to discover new and better way of achieving goal. Okay, if you remember in the last 2 or 3 meetings, we talk about value. Yeah, value is the type of standardization. Value to make decision, yeah, to consider whether a situation is uh, what is it, uh, desirable or undesirable. That's an example of standardization. Yeah, but mutual adjustment is actually the process in this case to discover or determine a new value. Yeah, that's the balance between standardization and mutual adjustment. All right, and the last one, yeah, is the type of organizational structure. And when we talk about the type of organizational structure, there are uh, several type of organizational structure, and one of those, and or some of those, is what people usually call as mechanistic structure. So mechanistic structure is designed to induce people to behave in a predictable and accountable ways. Yeah, and this mechanistic structure is best suited for stable and unchanging environment. Yeah, for stable and unchanging environment. But when the environment is unstable or fastly changing, mechanistic structure could be is not feasible. All right. And the second one is organic structure. Organic structure is structure that promote flexibility, so people initiate change and can adapt quickly to changing condition. And this type of structure is suited to dynamic, unstable, or uncertain environment. Yeah. So when selecting the type of organizational structure, the managers or the organization, they need to consider the environment also, whether the environment is stable and unchanging or unstable or uncertain. And with the result of those consideration, uh, can result different structure of the organization. Okay, this is the difference between mechanistic and organic structure. Okay, um, related with the topic we discussed, like specialization, integration, centralization, and standardization. Yeah. Well, the organics is like joint specialization, complex integrating mechanism, decentralization, and something like that. So those different or the role of what we discussed, yeah, specialization, integration, centralization, or standardization related with the organizational structure. Okay, and this is the environment uncertainty and the relation between environment and uncertainty and organizational structure. Okay. I think that's all that I can deliver for you today. All right. So this is the conclusion, the last slide of our today uh, topics. That organization once again, or design of organization, should balance between dif- different aspects. As you remember, differentiation, integration, standardization, mutual adjustment, and other things. This should be balanced. And the principle in organizational design has its advantage and disadvantage. And the last one, the choice of organizational design approach should aim for how organization can fit the environment. And for the next meeting, yeah, we are going to discuss about the especially more detail in the organizational structure. Okay, I think that's all that I can discuss with you for today. And um, I hope we can see you again next week, yeah, to talk about the uh, structure of the organization. Right, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.